The excavation team had been working on Kepler 442b for 17 months when they found it. Dr. Sarah Chen was cataloging mineral samples when her scanner detected an anomaly 3 kilometers beneath the frozen crust, a geometric structure that had no business existing on a planet that had supposedly never harbored intelligent life. The Galactic Archaeological Council arrived within a week, their massive research vessels casting shadows over the dig site. Commander Vrelax, a Thelonian with crystalline skin that refracted the dim light of Kepler 442b's red dwarf sun, supervised the excavation personally. This was unprecedented. Structures this old were rare enough, but one this large and intact? It could rewrite the history of the galaxy. Sarah stood with the Council's lead xenoarchaeologist, Professor Kixta, a six-limbed arachnus whose species had been studying ancient civilizations for 3 millennia. Around them, a dozen other species worked, Kentari with their 8 fingers perfect for delicate brushwork, Voidborn who could manipulate gravity to lift massive stones, and several humans from Earth's newly established xenoarchaeology program. The material is unlike anything in our databases, Kixta chittered, his translator implant rendering the clicks into standard galactic common. Carbon dating suggests it's at least 5 million years old. Perhaps older. Sarah ran her gloved hand along the exposed hull. The metal, if it was metal, felt warm despite the planet's sub-zero temperatures. Symbols covered its surface, intricate patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. Every species in the Council had tried to decipher them. Every attempt had failed. 3 months later, they'd cleared enough ice to reveal the full structure. It was a ship, a starship of impossible proportions. 10 kilometers long, shaped like a teardrop with wings that curved into dimensions that hurt to look at. The Council's best engineers couldn't determine how it had been constructed, let alone how it might have flown. "We're going to attempt entry," Commander Vrelax announced during the morning briefing. "The mathematical models suggest a primary access point on the ventral surface. All senior researchers will participate." The entrance was sealed by a door that seemed to be part of the hull itself, with no visible hinges or control mechanisms. The Council's technology experts tried everything: electromagnetic pulses, graviton beams, quantum resonance keys. Nothing worked. The ship remained silent, dormant, a sleeping giant that refused to wake. Dr. Chen approached the door for what felt like the 100th time. Something about it nagged at her, a whisper at the edge of her consciousness. The symbols around the entrance were different from the others, simpler, almost like letters, she breathed. "What was that, Dr. Chen?" Professor Kixta scuttled closer. "These symbols. They're not decorative. They're phonetic." Sarah's heart hammered in her chest. Her specialty was ancient Earth languages, not alien writing systems, but something about the patterns felt familiar. Too familiar. She pulled up her data pad, running the symbols through every linguistic database humanity had compiled. Ancient Sumerian, Egyptian hieroglyphs, Sanskrit, Proto-Indo-European. The computer cycled through thousands of languages, and then a match. 87% correlation with Proto-Human, a theoretical reconstructed language that predated all known human writing systems. But that was impossible. Humanity had only reached the stars 73 years ago. This ship was millions of years old. "Commander," Sarah's voice shook. "I need to try something." Vrelax's crystalline face reflected doubt. "Dr. Chen, we've exhausted every technological option. What could you possibly? Just give me 5 minutes. Please." The commander's internal organs pulsed, visible through his translucent skin, a sign of deep consideration. Finally, he gestured agreement. 5 minutes. Sarah stood before the door, feeling absurd. Around her, the galaxy's greatest minds watched with barely concealed skepticism. A human, trying to succeed where Thelonian quantum mechanics and Arachnus probability manipulation had failed. She cleared her throat and spoke the words her linguistic AI had translated, her voice barely above a whisper in the thin atmosphere: "Apudvaram. Ga pravisami. Open the door. I enter home." Nothing happened. Sarah felt her face flush with embarrassment. Of course, nothing happened. It was a foolish idea, a desperate. The ship hummed. It was barely perceptible at first, a vibration that Sarah felt in her bones rather than heard. Then the symbols around the door began to glow, soft blue light that grew brighter with each passing second. The assembled scientists stepped back, instruments suddenly alive with data. The door didn't open. It dissolved, particles rearranging themselves into a permeable membrane that shimmered like water. "Impossible," Commander Vrel X whispered. Sarah stood frozen, staring at what she'd done. The ship's interior beckoned, lit by that same blue luminescence. She took a step forward, then another. The membrane parted around her like a curtain. Inside, the ship was alive. Walls that seemed to be made of light and shadow shifted around her. The air was warm, breathable, filled with a scent like ozone and honey. And everywhere were the symbols. But now Sarah could read them, her brain processing the ancient language as easily as English. "Welcome home, daughter of Earth," the ship spoke, its voice resonating from everywhere and nowhere. "We have waited so long for your kind to reach the stars." The rest of the team crowded through the entrance behind her, their instruments screaming with readings that defied every law of physics. Professor Kickstaw was clicking rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "The ship is speaking. Dr. Chen, what is it saying?" But Sarah barely heard him. She was staring at a holographic display that had materialized before her, showing a map of the galaxy, but not the galaxy as it existed now. This was the galaxy as it had been 5 million years ago, with civilizations marked in gold light across hundreds of systems. And at the center, marked in brilliant white, was a small blue planet. Earth. "You're human," Sarah whispered. "The ship, it was built by humans?" "Not humans as you know them now," the ship replied. "We were the architects, the first civilization. We seeded the galaxy with life, shaped evolution across 10,000 worlds. And when we saw that the universe was dying, that entropy would eventually claim all things, we left. We scattered ourselves across time and space, our essence encoded in the genetic memory of the species we created." The ship's wall showed images now, beings that looked almost human, but taller, with eyes that held the light of stars. They stood on Earth when it was young, when the continents were still forming. They guided the first primates down from the trees. They whispered in the dreams of the first humans who looked up at the stars and wondered. "You are our children," the ship continued. "All of you. Every species in this galaxy carries a fragment of what we were. But humans." The voice softened, almost wistful, "Humans carry the key. Your language, your vocal patterns, they are the password we encoded into the universe itself. Only a human voice, speaking the mother tongue, could wake us." Commander Vrel X approached Sarah, his crystalline form refracting the ship's light into rainbow patterns. "Dr. Chen, this changes everything. If what this entity says is true, then all galactic civilization descends from us," Professor Kickstaw finished, his multiple eyes wide with wonder. "From the architects. We are all siblings, separated by millions of years of evolution." Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. Humanity had spent so long feeling inferior, joining a galactic community where they were the newcomers, the primitives. And now this. "Why?" she asked the ship. "Why reveal this now?" "Because it is time," the ship replied. "The universe faces the same threat we fled from so long ago. Entropy accelerates. Reality itself grows thin. But now, with all our children gathered together, there is hope. This ship contains the knowledge of the architects, technology, science, the secrets of creation itself. With it, the galaxy's children can do what we could not. You can save the universe." The ship's core chamber opened before them, revealing a sphere of pure light suspended in impossible geometry. Data streams poured from it, information that would take lifetimes to process. The secrets of FTL travel that didn't require jump gates. Terraforming technology that could restore dead worlds in days. Medical knowledge that could extend life indefinitely. Energy sources that could power civilizations for millennia. And at the center of it all, a message in that ancient tongue that Sarah could now read as easily as breathing. Remember who you are. Remember where you came from. And when the darkness comes, stand together as we once did. You are not separate species. You are one family, children of the same ancient dream. Sarah turned to the assembled team, beings from a dozen different worlds, each evolved along different paths, yet all carrying the same spark. She saw the recognition in their eyes, the understanding that everything had changed. Well, she said, a smile breaking through her tears, I guess we should call home. They're not going to believe this. The ship hummed in agreement, its ancient systems coming fully online for the first time in 5 million years. Above Kepler 442b, the clouds parted as the vessel began to rise, pulling itself free from the ice that had imprisoned it for eons. The galaxy's children had found their inheritance. And the universe would never be the same.